All right, everybody. As you can see, I just pulled this out of a C5 Corvette 2003. And I wanted to show everybody this because I did it a little different than everybody else does. I know a lot of people like to pull the emergency brake cables out of the rotors. I actually left everything connected because I need everything. So you'll see this still has the rotors connected, the emergency cable, and what I actually did, if you can see here, I disconnected the emergency cable from where it connects under the car so that I could leave the cable connected and reuse the cable when I reinstall it in the vehicle. Other than that, it's kind of similar to the way everybody else takes them out. It's manual transmission. I left everything connected. It's a pretty simple removal. Once you unbolt the wiring harness and lay it across the motor, I took the wiring harness loose from the ECM, the PCM, and just laid everything across the motor so I didn't have to disconnect anything from the motor itself. Now, what a lot of people do, when they're removing this, they disconnect brake lines from the brake control module. I didn't want to have to go through all those issues of having to bleed brakes and doing everything. So I disconnected my master cylinder and left everything else connected. So I didn't have to disconnect anything. So when I reinstall this into the vehicle, all I've got to do is reconnect the master cylinder and I shouldn't have to bleed the brakes. As you can see, since it has these simple exhaust manifolds, I was able to leave the exhaust manifolds on, the entire brake line still connected. All of my brake hardware, everything is looking good. Now, for those of you who were wondering how hard it is to do at home in your driveway, it's not really that bad. You just need to make sure you've got jacks that can actually lift up high enough, or you've got enough 2x4s or 4x4s that you can actually support the jacks and get them up higher. Personally, I went and got, as you can see, a couple of jack stands from Harbor Freight. That jack stand actually goes up to 33 inches. And I want to say this one goes up to 24 inches. So with those two in place, I was able to get enough lift to clear it. And I mean, it had more than enough. So hey, if you guys still need any parts, I've got the complete doors, most of the shell interior for this, steering columns. The seats were garbage, so I've got door panels, drivetrain. The rear end is pretty much toast. It does have one good rear fender on it. Actually, this is the good side of the car. Got one good fender. And all the rocker panels are good, doors are good, mirrors are good. So, that's how it gets done, YouTube.